In today's video, we're going to be looking at my two favorite features from Clip Studio Pro. So the features we're going to be looking at today are going to be the quick access tool and the auto action features. So when you first open up Clip Studio Pro, you're not going to see the quick access window. So you got to go ahead and open it up. If you go to Window, Quick Access, and that should bring it up somewhere. So this is pretty much the preset ones. We're going to go ahead and make a new one just so I can show you all the cool things you can do. Feel free to use the one that's built in, but I like to customize mine. So you can go ahead and right click, create new set. We're just going to call this test for now. And then if you just right click, obviously you can see add drawing color. So what I like to do too is kind of make like color presets. So like say if you have like a palette for a certain character, they have that red on them. If you right click, add drawing color, that's automatically that red. So if we go to the blue, and then right click, add drawing color, you're drawing blue, you're drawing red. Really simple. Good for like, fill tools like that. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. Let's get rid of these real quick. Other good ones, especially if you're using like a tablet for drawing that doesn't have a lot of buttons, or your pen doesn't have any buttons on that as well. What you can do is add some settings. If it doesn't have an eraser like that, you can pretty much add any tool. The one I have has the pen tool set up, so we'll add that. It also has the eraser tool, wherever that is. Probably past it. Eraser. So it's just a really quick way to switch between pen and eraser, and especially if your drawing tablet doesn't allow you to do that. So that's very cool. But the main thing I like about this quick access tool is how you can add auto actions. And if you've never used auto actions, they're a really powerful tool in Clip Studio Pro. And I'm just going to show off a quick one here. We'll actually make one, and I can show you all the uses you can use for it. All right, so I got this pose that I drew of my character a little back ago. And as you can see, it has a little shadow in the background, and there's a really quick way to make it so you can have all your shadows and just be instantly done, and pretty much with the click of a button. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and get rid of the shadow. And I'll kind of just explain how I make the shadow real quick. It's very simple. You just duplicate the color layer, you turn it black, you transform it a little bit, and then change the opacity. And you can do that every time. But if you're doing something like this where I have to make a couple different poses per video, just clicking a button just to make the shadow in a very generic spot is really easy. So say if I had to make 10 of these, I could just press a button instead of having to go through it all every time. So what you'd have to do is have to make an auto action. So over here next to the layer, usually it's going to be auto action. Again, if you don't have it, it should be in the window. Auto action, it'll show up. And you're probably going to start out with default like this. I would again recommend making a new auto action set. I have mine called Mitch Custom. And then we're going to go ahead and right click, add auto action. We're going to call this shadow. Press enter. And then to kind of set what you want to do to him, you go ahead and press record. Before we go ahead and press record, I want to make sure we're on the right layer. Yep. So it doesn't see that you change layer in the auto action. And you go ahead and press record. And you don't have to really hurry when you do this. It kind of seems like when you press record, it's for real and it's going to count the seconds. It really just counts the actions. So what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate that layer, right? So then on the duplicated layer, we're going to change it to that kind of changes the layer color really quickly. We want that to be black. All right. And then we're going to actually transform it. A quick way to do it is Control T. Just tilt it a little bit, and we'll make it a little bit bigger. Tilt it, something like that. And then press enter. And then the only fortunate thing is we'll move it under the layer like this. It usually doesn't have a good time doing that, so you do have to move it, but we'll do it anyway. Turn the opacity to 50. And then I'd like to do a Gaussian blur, just a subtle one, maybe like 11 or so. And press OK. And that's pretty much it. So then we go back to our auto action and we press stop. And if we make this a little bit bigger, you can see everything it did to do it. And then you'll look at these buttons right here. So what these mean, so if you click on it, that means whenever the checkbox shows up, like when it asks you to change the settings of it, it'll actually pause and let you do it manually. So we don't want that. So that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and remove that so we can actually do it with the button. And then you could have always done it if you just click on that layer, go to the auto action. If you right click, if you set it to button mode like this, you just press the button and that should happen like that. It's a pretty easy way to do it. An even better way to do it, I like it, is we'll go ahead and delete the layer. If we go back to our quick access tool, quick access settings, auto action, Mitch custom, shadow, add. So if we're on the right layer, shadow. There we are. I'll go ahead and show you another quick one I like to do. I kind of like to add a line blur to my line art. So if we go back to our auto action and we'll switch it back or switch out of button mode, make that smaller. We're going to create a new one, add new auto action, call this line blur. Then we're going to go ahead and make sure we're on our line art layer. All right, we're going to hit record. What we do is I duplicate, and then the duplicated one we rasterize. It's pretty good to rasterize it even if it's not a raster layer, just in case if it's a vector layer. So then we have that, and then we'll go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur. And then if you've never done this before, it's a pretty good tip. I used to do it like a lot like that, because it kind of adds some depth. Try not to go too overboard like I did. I tried to just be subtle, just so like you really can't notice it, but it kind of just makes it look a little bit cleaner. Kind of gives it kind of an anti-aliasing effect. So we'll just go 6 with this one. And then that's pretty much it. That's the whole action. So we go back and stop. And again, we can go to our quick access setting, auto action, line blur, add. So as before, we didn't have this selected, so it'll just automatically do it. So we go ahead and get rid of that. Let me make sure I make that stop happening. We just press line blur, it just happens. It doesn't ask us how it wants it. It just does it at whatever settings we had. So typically with line blur, it's going to kind of depend on the size of your, your canvas. So if you're not working on typical sizes, your line blur is probably going to change. So what we do for that is right here, when we're at the Gaussian blur, we can select that so it actually asks us how big we want it, or how strong do we want the blur, basically. So if we go back here and we press line blur, we can do that, and we can change it to whatever setting we want. That's pretty much it. And yeah, that's pretty much my two kind of hidden but favorite features in Clip Studio Pro. I'm trying to look into more of them. Another big one I want to be able to figure out is Workspaces. So I use this for my main computer, and then when I'm on my drawing tablet, my iPad, I have to switch over to that. And I'll probably make another video on that because I had a really cool work. I kind of overhauled my entire drawing system, so I might make a video on that as well. But I'm having issues switching workspaces because it's not too terrible to go and switch the workspace like that, but I have to kind of drag this over. I wish I could just kind of make it a button over here on my quick access, because that would be super simple and you'd be very quick as well. What just dropped? My power cable. Oh well. So that's going to be it for the video. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know in the link below. And if you're still watching the video, try to check out one of my other videos. I previously made a quick animation called Welcome to a Fun Friday, where I kind of go over what I'm going to be doing every Friday now. It's just going to be a quick animation. But again, thanks for watching.